big blue. It's a letter to Lexington, message from me to you. Never thought I'd make it in a place like this. Never thought I'd make it in a place like this. Never thought I'd make it in a place like this. Never thought I'd make it in a place like this.
I'm so glad that I convinced you and that your wife convinced you to sit down with us, with me.
It took my wife.
I feel honored. I feel honored. Thank you, Miss Ann. Thank you. And a lot of people might not know, but you don't really like to talk about yourself. You're kind of, as much impact that you've made in the community and how out there you are and all the projects that you've worked on and things that you've been able to build up. You told me you didn't want to really focus too much on you, right?
Not on me personally. I mean, I don't mind talking about my work.
Yes.
But I've never felt this about Chester Grundy, personality, none of that. No.
I think that's the reason, one of the reasons why you've probably been able to be so impactful is that you're helping bring others up.
Well, thank you. I mean, I will say I am sincere, and what I do, I think is for, done with the best motivation, best intentions. So, whether it be in my professional work or, community work, I think I'm motivated by good intentions, okay?
I think you've had good intentions. I mean, it goes all the way back to, what you've been able to do at the University of Kentucky in itself, right? Founding the Black Student Union, being one of the first members of the Urban League in Lexington, the Lexington chapter, especially at a time like that, right? Why did you think it was so important for you?
Well,
what the young kids say, stand on business.
When I think about, you mentioned my time at UK, it was just simply clear to those of us, the small group of Black students who were at University of Kentucky during the 1960s, that if things were to change, not just for us, but for the students who were to come behind us, then it really was on us to do something. And fortunately, there were enough of us. It was never a large number, okay? It was a small number to begin with, only 50 Black students, I think, when I enrolled in 1965.
Oh, wow. But like 50 Black students part of the union, or 50 Black students
Black
in
students on the campus.
At university, just 50.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
I think the enrollment was maybe 16,000 at the time.
Yeah.
So, it was an environment then that I would say at best was indifferent, at worst it was hostile. Okay.
Yeah.
So it was really incumbent on us to do something to make things different. And there were enough of us and enough supportive people in the administration and on faculty that we were able to devise some things, come up with some ideas that we thought would make a positive contribution and make the university a more hospitable, inviting place.
I think you've taken it a step further with a lot of the things that you've been a part of, like the Cultural Center, and even helping create I don't even know what year, the MLK annual Lexington celebration.
Yeah, for me that's easy to remember because, the actual celebration in Lexington started, believe it or not, in 1973.
Aren't we like one of the first?
Yes.
In the U.S. too.
Yes, and I credit that to the vision of Dr. William Parker.
Yeah.
God bless him. Jerry Stevens and Dr. Edgar Mack. All those men have passed because they've all gone on, but they were the the visionaries behind that. And yes, the celebration started at UK, small candlelit march, but under Dr. Parker's leadership, it evolved into a citywide celebration. I think we just celebrated our 50th year about 3 years ago. So maybe we're the 53rd. I lose count. But yeah, it's a long consecutive celebration.
Yeah, how is the process of scaling that? I mean, I'd imagine that while some people were celebrating it, it might have been a little pushback, but you still persevered through. So how does that continue to scale? And I mean, it's marked on everyone's calendar every single year, not only just because Martin Luther King Jr. Day is a national holiday, but this was done before that. So
yeah, I don't know, but I think it's critical to keep it relevant. I've observed a lot of these sorts of celebrations, and to me, it has to be beyond symbolism. And it has to be true to the legacy of Martin Luther King. And that legacy, depending on whose hands it's left in, could change. So I think that we've been consistent in terms of trying to connect Dr. King with the moment we're living through. And, that makes us responsible for getting a speaker each year whose life and work is consistent with that, and who will bring, an authentic message that's designed to not just make people feel good or look or commemorate on the past, but to think about the meaning of Martin Luther King right now. That's really important. And we try to always frame that in a high quality cultural presentation, involve community people, young people, very conscious of gender balance, all of those things, But more than anything is to, we pose the question, what would Martin Luther King Jr. say about us now?
I think he would have a lot to say.
He'd have a lot to say.
I was actually, because I follow his daughter, Bernice King, and I think a lot of things are still relevant.
Oh,
today.
Everything is totally
everything.
relevant.
Everything.
I think now more than ever.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think that says about how far we've come and like where we need to go?
Well, I'm a person who believes in eternal vigilance. I don't think there will ever be a point when we'll say we have solved the issue of race or issue of inequity in our society. It is an issue that is built in, and it calls upon us to, as I say, be vigilant and commit ourselves to always making ourselves better, making life for other people better.
Yeah.
So and it's a matter of preparing the way for other people who will pick up the mantle and move things forward. We do what we can in our time, and then, as I'm trying to do, is step aside,
Hey, we don't want you to step. We still need your support.
I've had 3 failed retirements, so I'm not good at retirement.
It's okay. I don't think we're gonna allow you to retire too soon. But I mean, you definitely enjoy some rest here and there.
I thought you were going to say you enjoy the work. I do enjoy the work.
But no, you should enjoy some rest and the work. And speaking of, making a way for a lot of people, what you and Miss Ann were able to found in Roots, right? Roots and Heritage Festival.
Yes, it was founded in our kitchen.
And I was just talking about this with my best friend, one of my childhood best friends, because, I'm born and raised in Lexington. So when school was about to start, that means Roots were about to start. You had to get a Roots outfit and your back to school outfit together. And I was like, we used to call each other like, what you wearing for Roots? It had to be after 9 because that's when calls were free. But how did that start in this very home? I'm in history right now.
Okay, to the best of my recollection, we're talking about a long time. But as I recall, I guess the person who was a catalyst for that, I don't know if you know Catherine Warner. So Catherine Warner was a family friend who, had been around to several African American cultural festivals in the region. Had been to Dayton, I think had been to Nashville, and got all excited. And she, maybe over dinner one day said, "Why can't we do something like that here?" And I think our response was something like, "Well, why not? We can."
Yeah.
So it was a matter of then, strategizing. And I think at that time, Scotty Basler was the mayor. Mm-hmm. So between the three of us, and I think Ed Holmes, you know Ed Holmes?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Ed Holmes, Michael Wilson.
Yeah.
And a few other people, we set up a meeting with the mayor, and I was asked to come up with a vision paper. And I had never written a vision paper for a festival.
A multi-day festival.
Right. But I, you can do reverse engineering. If you want to get to this point, where do you start? And you have to go back in your brain and figure out all these processes. Well, I made it sound like I knew what I was doing.
Hey.
And, and the mayor was impressed. And I think he gave us, the initial funding, which wasn't a lot of money, but it was sufficient to get started. But the stipulation was that we bring Alex Haley here. And
you had Alex Haley?
Yes,
wow.
For the first year. And I had booked Alex Haley twice at UK. So when, he raised that, I said, I think I can get that done.
Yeah, I have the connection.
So we did that. We contacted Alex Haley, and he agreed to come.
Wow.
But I don't know if you know this, but the first year of the festival, we were impacted by Hurricane Hugo.
I don't.
Yeah, we had planned to be in the streets,
right
outside, but Hugo was forecast, and we had to move the whole thing inside.
Where'd you move it into?
To the Dunbar Gym.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And set up, vendors and the stage. So, it really did impact the impact.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So it wasn't what we had envisioned. And Ann and I had to be out of town. I mean, we had to do a funeral, right? So we weren't even here. But the reports were it went well, and maybe 3,000 people came through in the course of a day.
Yeah.
But it was just enough to let us know that we were really on to something.
I think even me having that nostalgia, and even what Marcellus and I have been able to hopefully do with Soul Feast Week, a lot of that, you all really inspired. You cultivated a place of belonging, because at that time I was growing up on the South Side, so if I wanted to see more of people that look like me, I could come there, right?
Oh, that's great to hear.
Yeah, and when it comes to festivals and curating different spaces and being passionate about it, you've been able to see it in your most recent festival, which you have a jazz music background with the Origins Jazz Series, and VisitLEX. We were so grateful to be a part of the opportunity of the Equinox Jazz Fest. So how did that idea come to you? Because it's another festival, but it's so much different than Roots.
Yeah, my life has been a series of it's like almost connecting opportunities.
Yeah.
Connecting opportunities. So this festival this past weekend, Equinox Jazz Fest, I don't think would have been even conceived had it not been for the work that was done with the Spotlight Jazz series. Because two of my colleagues who've been involved I've been with them for the last 8 years doing Origins. The Origins, we call ourselves the Origins Jazz Series Posse. Okay, I call it Posse because it's so small, so full of us.
Yeah.
But they were inspired, they tell me, by the Spotlight Jazz series. And the amusing thing is these guys weren't born when that was happening. Okay.
But I think that shows your impact. I wasn't around, I don't think, for the first roots or for that is, but I know it.
Yeah, well, that's what they convinced me of, that they knew the history of that series and they wanted to kind of recreate it. So I said, well, great. And somehow
You got looped in.
I got looped in.
Voluntold.
Yeah, right. But they understand. I don't do the heavy lift.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not the person that's going to wrap up cables after
Listen,
the
you
gig
paid your dues.
anymore.
You paid your dues.
So, but it's a great organization, and this festival this weekend was a huge triumph for us.
Yeah. I always think people are always really shocked at the music scene here in Lexington and this region in Kentucky, especially when it comes to jazz. Like, we have some great musicians that have come out of here, that come through here.
Yeah.
With you being a Kentuckian yourself, and I know you're, don't want to say it out loud, we're originally from Louisville. You're not going to hold it against you. You got blue on today.
But now I think about more than half my life I've lived here.
Yes, so you're in Lexington. Yeah,
I have dual citizenship.
Yes, dual citizenship. So when, what would you say to people that are not familiar with the music scene here and the history of building this?
Well, it's probably more than people think. Part of what we did in this festival was kind of a tip of the hat to Runco. Have you heard
Yes,
that
Runco.
story?
Yeah, I've heard of it. TD told me about it before, and it's a very interesting story of that location.
Yeah.
Being not a birthplace, but in a sense of a birthplace of
it was a place
community.
A place of retreat for a lot of great jazz musicians. That's a whole nother story, but the linkages are interesting because when I was doing the Spotlight Jazz series at UK, I would usually be the person to meet the musicians at the airport, right? And there were more than a few who came through, and one of the first things they would say was, "This is a real nostalgic date, man, to be back here." And I know, you did time.
Yeah, right? You did time at Narco.
Right. So, it's just really gratifying that story had some legs because, here we are in 2025 doing a tribute to that historical era. And I guess it's the 50s, 50s, 60s. But, it's a gift that keeps giving, I guess.
Yes, and I think it's interesting because it's unexpected.
Yeah, and not a lot of people know the story of that.
Yeah, and I'm familiar with it as much as the oral history lessons that you give people just in conversation, whether you realize it or not. And you've had your hand involved in so many different things. I mean, you're really not only a historian, but an artist as well. And not just in music, but you act.
Now I get a couple of film credits.
Yeah, you have a couple of film. I had the privilege of, now I can say I was in a film with the Chester Grundy.
Yeah,
and
get that.
I mean, we didn't get a scene together. Weren't on set at all the same day. You just asked me what character I played.
Yeah. Yeah, so I was at the Kentucky this weekend and it was so cool. There was a couple of people who didn't identify me with the jazz series, but they said, I saw you in a film. That's what, yeah,
that was me. I'm telling you, when you got on the screen, everyone was like, and then I had no idea you weren't even in the theater. I mean, it was
no,
like
I was in Alaska at the time.
You did great.
Thank you. I'm still to see that. I haven't seen my debut.
Yeah, well,
so I'm gonna check it out.
Yeah. It was fun and interesting and collaborative, especially because majority of people that were in the film, a lot of us had a connection with the first district or lived in the first district, or just had a Kentucky connection in general. And for me, moving away and coming back and now being back in the fabric of Lexington, it was really great to see. So as much history that you've created, what do you want us to be like path moving forward? Like there's just so many places that you've been impactful with. It's not one specific industry, it's not one specific thing.
Well, there's a connecting thread and all that stuff, and it really has to do with I have a deep commitment to. If I look at the things that kind of pop up and all that, it's either art, history, or culture. It's like 3 pillars that I kind of build my work around, because I think all of that helps us to really come to grips with our humanity. I mean, that's why they call that the humanity.
Yeah, the humanity.
But for me, it's like it's work that not only feeds my soul, but I think represents us, all of us, at our highest level. The great artists, I think, that's their contribution. They show us the possibility of humanity. And I've seen my job as like being a person who has chosen to give us representations of that, be it in music, be it in theater, dance, poetry, great scholars, all of that. I mean, that was the excitement for me of working with the Culture Center UK, that almost once a month we were bringing in some person who really represented us at our best. And for Black students, it's doubly gratifying that they get regular representations of greatness.
I mean, you see it on your walls in your home, right? Not just pictures of a lot of people that are at their excellence, whether it be Michael Jordan, Spike Lee, Maya Angelou, but just even in the history. And, before we wrap up, I even want to just point out, like, there's so much history with this.
Oh, the window, yes.
The window.
This window, my wife tells the story better, but since it's me and you, I'll tell the story.
Yes.
This window is from 16th Street Baptist Church in Birmingham, Alabama. The significance, of course, of that is this is a church that was bombed in 1963. And this window was one of the few windows that was not shattered as a result of the bombing. But my wife's father was pastor of 16th Street Baptist Church. He pastored until 1960. So the bombing happens in 63, but he was the pastor. I think there was, the key to centering the church as a meeting place for the movement. SCLC, SNCC, other movement organizations chose 16th Street for the meetings and the organizing site. So it was, it wasn't shocking for the people who knew the church that it would be targeted eventually. But that happened. Fortunately, her father didn't have to witness that personally. He had passed. But, this is very significant for us. Her mother and sister were still members of the church when it happened. And her sister and mother just escaped the bombing that day because they were late for church. But they heard the explosion when it happened.
Yeah, there's a lot of connectivity, right? And the fact that regardless of what happened, that there are certain things that still survive, whether it's actual tangible or it's the movement or the sentiment. And I even relay it back to if that church was, a place for people to meet. I mean, your home has been a place for people to meet, and a lot of movements and a lot of things have been born here. And as much as, we're focusing on the work that you do, but you being the man, the myth, and the legend,
There you go.
what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want people to leave here with when it comes to
Wow,
your
that's a heavy
impact?
question, Martine.
The hard-hitting stuff.
That sounds like
I
you
swear
have to
it's the last question.
write my obituary, huh?
We're not trying to do that yet.
I mean, I just try to do good work. I certainly wanted to represent my culture and my community as best I could. Be a great representative. And I've always seen that as, people say, it's a great sacrifice. I've never seen it as a sacrifice. I mean, this is the work that has made me who I am. What Frederick Douglass said, you're worked on by what you work on. Well, the work has worked on me. It's worked on my family. My daughters are who they are as a result of growing up in this house and having an opportunity to meet people like Sarah Vaughan and Max Roach and, and the many people who've come through here. So it's been, I call it a gift that keeps giving, and I don't think about a legacy much. It's just I want to be consistent, and I want to be consistent in doing the things that I do as best as I can do them.
Consistency in the work. That's beautiful. And personally, thank you for the work that you're doing. And then even from a VisitLEX perspective, because the festivals that you're doing, you're bringing people into the city. You're allowing and giving people things to do in the city, whether they be locals or just stopping through town. And your impact speaks for itself. So thank you for allowing us in your beautiful home. And,
Oh, it's been a pleasure.
until next time.
Thank
And
you.
and thank you, Miss Ann.
This is a letter from me to you. I said go big blue. I said go big blue. I said go big blue. It's a letter to Lexington, message from me to you.